The Boeing name was once synonymous with innovation, reliability, and engineering excellence. For much of the 20th century, it produced aircraft that defined commercial aviation. The 707 ushered in the jet age, the 747 brought intercontinental travel to the masses, and the 777 set new standards for long-haul efficiency. But today, that reputation is under fire. Boeing is once again facing scrutiny, not for its technological brilliance, but for safety failures, regulatory fines, and delays that have cost the company billions of dollars. At the heart of the controversy, lingering problems with the 737 MAX and repeated delays of the 777X, Boeing's next flagship. How did one of America's most iconic aerospace giants stumble so badly? To understand, we must look back at how a culture of speed, cost-cutting, and competition slowly eroded Boeing's legacy. For decades, Boeing was admired as a company run by engineers rather than accountants. Its philosophy was simple: build the best airplane possible, even if it meant taking longer or spending more. This mindset produced aircraft like the 747 and 777, both of which became legends in their own right. By the 1990s, Boeing dominated the skies. Its only serious rival, Airbus, was gaining ground in Europe, but Boeing remained the preferred choice for many airlines worldwide. Customers trusted Boeing aircraft to be safe, durable, and technologically advanced. But as competition with Airbus intensified, Boeing began to change. In 1997, Boeing merged with McDonnell Douglas, another American aerospace manufacturer. Many industry veterans argue this was the turning point. McDonnell Douglas, once a rival with the DC-10 and MD-80 series, had struggled financially and focused on cutting costs rather than innovation. Critics claim that after the merger, this philosophy seeped into Boeing's culture. No longer was the company led primarily by engineers. Increasingly, executives prioritized quarterly earnings, shareholder value, and production speed. And when Airbus launched new aircraft like the A320neo and A350, Boeing scrambled to respond, sometimes taking shortcuts that would later come back to haunt them. The most infamous example was the 737 MAX. Developed as a quick response to the Airbus A320neo, the MAX was essentially a re-engineered version of the decades-old 737 airframe. Larger, more fuel-efficient engines were mounted higher and further forward on the wings, changing the aircraft's aerodynamics. To counteract the tendency for the nose to pitch upward, Boeing introduced a new system called MCAS, but it relied on a single sensor and was poorly explained in pilot manuals. The decision not to require full simulator training was deliberate, saving airlines money and making the MAX more attractive. The consequences were catastrophic. 2 crashes in 2018 and 2019 killed 346 people, grounding the global fleet for nearly 2 years. Boeing lost over $20 billion, but more damaging was the collapse of its reputation. Regulators, airlines, and the flying public all began questioning whether Boeing still put safety first. Just as Boeing worked to rebuild trust, new incidents reignited concerns. In January 2025, a door plug panel blew off a 737 MAX 9 midair, forcing an emergency landing. Investigations revealed troubling gaps in manufacturing quality and oversight at Boeing facilities. The FAA has since proposed millions of dollars in fines for safety violations. These incidents have raised fresh doubts about whether Boeing has truly learned from past mistakes, or if cost-cutting pressures still override engineering discipline. For airlines and passengers alike, the MAX has become a symbol of both technological compromise and corporate hubris. At the same time, Boeing has struggled with the aircraft meant to be its next crown jewel, the 777X. Originally unveiled in 2013, the 777X was marketed as the world's largest, most advanced twin-engine jet. Featuring folding wingtips, new GE9X engines, and updated aerodynamics, it promised airlines unprecedented efficiency for long-haul routes. But more than a decade later, the jet has still not entered service. Certification delays, technical challenges, and shifting market demand have pushed the program back repeatedly. Airlines like Emirates, once eager for the 777X, have grown impatient. Each delay costs Boeing billions in lost revenue and damages its credibility with customers. The combined impact of the MAX crisis, manufacturing defects, and 777X delays has been staggering. Boeing has spent tens of billions on compensation, redesigns, and regulatory penalties. Its market share in narrow-body jets has shrunk as Airbus surges ahead with the A320neo and A321XLR. The company's debt has ballooned, and analysts warn that Boeing's ability to invest in new aircraft programs, such as a long-rumored middle-of-the-market jet, is severely constrained. What was once the undisputed leader in aviation is now playing catch-up. Perhaps the most troubling aspect is cultural. Investigations into the MAX crashes and later quality control lapses revealed a company struggling with internal pressure. Whistleblowers described assembly lines rushing to meet unrealistic production targets, managers ignoring red flags, and engineers feeling sidelined in decision-making. Where Boeing once prided itself on safety above all, critics argue that the company has shifted towards speed above all. Restoring its culture of engineering excellence may be just as important as fixing any technical problem. Despite its struggles, Boeing is not finished. Thousands of 737 MAX have returned to service, and airlines continue to order them in large numbers. The 777X, while delayed, still promises to be a technological marvel if it finally reaches commercial flights. And Boeing remains a key player in defense and space, ensuring its survival even through commercial crises. But the stakes are high. With Airbus dominating the single-aisle market and new entrants like China's Comac C919 emerging, Boeing must prove it can innovate again, and do so safely. Boeing's recent history is a cautionary tale. A company that once set the standard for aviation excellence, now struggling under the weight of its own decisions. The 737 MAX scandal and 777X delays show what happens when short-term gains outweigh long-term vision. For the industry, it is a stark reminder that in aviation there is no shortcut around safety. For Boeing, it is a battle to reclaim the trust it has lost. One aircraft, one flight, and one decision at a time. Boeing once built airplanes that inspired the world. Today it faces a fight for survival not against competitors, but against its own past mistakes. Whether it can recover and return to its legacy of engineering brilliance remains one of the most pressing questions in aviation.